Welcome to Your Next Bold Move. Our show is all about helping you take your next step, whether it's career or relationships or life in general. Hello, and welcome to Your Next Bold Move. My name is Wendy Capland. Today's show is about how to age well and be pain-free. And with us today is expert and guest in the field of health and fitness, Wayne Peacock. Wayne is a life coach who focuses on the health of the body and is, as you will see, a living example of great health and exercise and a joyful spirit. So thanks for being here, Wayne. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you very much for creating this.
Well, you're welcome. So why don't we start by your telling a little bit about yourself?
Midwestern guy, depression parents. It was all about, from day one, was play, which then worked into sports, which worked into competitions, which worked into adventure. That's what brought me to life, was being out there in the body some way and creating adventure and fun out of it.
So how did you get into the field of coaching, and in this particular arena, was that just a natural for you based on your own personal care?
Well, following college and then a 35-year career as a loss prevention engineer first, and then eventually I got to the top of that profession. What I learned on this job as a loss prevention engineer was to analyze stuff, see where the risks are, what can we do to prevent the risks, look after losses, and learning on that, which now kind of doing a parallel thing with
the same skill.
How do we have preventive self-care now, as just as an industrial plant will be preventing things rather than fixing them after that.
Yeah.
But you asked how I got started in it. Someone said, what are you coming to town for? I'm going to this coaching training. And my wife said, oh, he calls himself a coach. So the next day I signed up, and there I was hooked right away on that. And so now 10 years later,
I probably met you right around then.
Been a life coach, and what I want to say about that is, to be a life coach, it just demanded sort of that next level of maturity and self-control and self-management in order to help people find their answers as opposed to tell them the answers. Yeah, so it just happened by accident, and I fell in love with it, and I just keep educating myself on it just for its own sake, you know. Yeah.
Tell me about your philosophy of this health thing.
I see a moral and a social responsibility for taking the best care we can of ourselves. You know, we're born and we've got this potential for, it's 120 years, and we just lop off and give the last 20 away. So that's what our potential is. And then we have kind of our American norms, healthcare norms, and so we're well short of that. You know, so all that gap in there is pain, suffering, lost potential. We don't have a ceremony when we're 15 and say, now guys, from now on, this is what it is, you're 100% responsible. Nobody thinks of themselves as, I'm responsible for the results of all this stuff. And out of that, we just think things happen.
I was just going to say
so-and-so just had a heart attack. Oh, so-and-so just got
happened
depressed.
to them.
It just happened to them. So my philosophy is
about
being 100% responsible for creating what you want to. You get to choose it.
Right. Tell us, what do you do to take care of yourself?
The most critical part is you have to determine what level of health, what level of fitness you aspire to.
And what's yours?
Mine is to pursue optimum health. Pursue it. Then you got to know what the metrics are for optimum health. So, say blood pressure. I was going to tell a little story on that. So if I was working with a client and he goes and gets his first annual physical in years, and the guy comes back and says, you've got 140 over something, traditionally people, okay, and you know, this is the second year, so I'm thinking of you're going to have that and off the shelf, and now the person's on medication for life. So a client that I work with would say, so tell me, doctor, what should be my target? Oh, and you'll get, well, it'd be nice if you got it down to, no, I didn't ask that, doctor. What would be my optimum? What's the ideal blood pressure I want? Well, actually, you know, whatever it is. And then a client will write down a goal. I want to have it there in, say, 2 years or something, without pharmaceuticals, just through diet, exercise, and someone who's capable of working with me. So you got to know the metric, otherwise you're...
Right, what's optimum health mean?
So what do? I see a doctor every month for the last 8 years. I get tested almost every time, all of which is to see where are the imbalances in my body. What's out of balance, what's showing up, what's a little orange flag. And I'll walk out with his prescription for remedies or supplements or something like that. And then I'll see him the next month, and we'll do a variety of things, muscle testing and so forth, and see how am I doing on that. A key part of all of this is what's the cause of things. Because one of the huge problems with our medical stuff is doctors only work at treating the symptom.
Right, once you've got it.
The doctor I would only works with the cause. So you go back to this, well, we got to work on that so this can get healthy. And another thing is you got to have something that's compelling. And compelling for me is I don't want to be invalided. You know, I don't want to lose capabilities. The other part, even more kind of like almost like a spiritual thing, is my wife and my daughter and my son and my grandkids and some of my best friends, I'm an intricate part of their life. And they want me to be there and integrate with them indefinitely. So there's sort of communal responsibilities that create a big pull for me. So I go to find gifted people. Who's the ones that want to help people be excellent as opposed to you're doing all right?
Right.
You know, so it's that kind of thing.
That's great.
And then I train. What I do is geared just for me by my coach every week. Here's what you're working at. These are the kind of the drills or what we'll work on.
This is a full-time job.
It is. A lot of people say, first of all, they say, well, you can do it. You got the money, Wayne. And I want to write a book that says most of this stuff doesn't cost money. It's just discipline, and I have as many addictions on sugar
as everybody else.
As everybody else, yeah.
All right, let's pull up the slide that you put together for us on the 7 strategies for a joyful and pain-free 75th birthday.
Well, I guess the essence of this is, since we lack in a goal of excellent health, most people haven't set, I'll be an A or a B or a C like that. To me, it's looking ahead to some event at some place out there. We're willing to think ahead that we want so much money when we're 75, and want to have the house paid off, but we don't think of that in daily investment in how we want to have a pain-free, joyful 70s, 80s, and 90s.
It's better not to wait until you're infirmed, sick, or diseased.
Well, some stuff's not recoverable. Some things you can reverse. A lot of things you can reverse. All of the maladies, the pain and suffering, that all these different things that we have in our life, the vast majority of those are preventable. They know heart, all that stuff is just a product. You know, you eat that for 40 years and you just produce heart problems, or you just produce bowel cancer or something like that. So almost everything is preventable.
You work with people individually to help them along the same journey and lines of what you're doing for yourself. And so how can people reach you, Wayne?
ResponsibleStewardship.net. .me.
.me, M-E. That ending is so perfect considering you're responsible and a steward for your own body.
Well, that's supposed to be the cleverness of it. You're stewarding this little gift you've got. But yeah, it really is an odyssey. You learn, it's exciting, you know, you try stuff and things, and it really is an odyssey, but the price is worth it. So I do have one last tip when we get there.
We're here now.
My tip is for tomorrow when you wake up, and you just lay still and just kind of welcome the day and just become conscious. Ask yourself, what does my body crave today? What does my mind want? Just what's the need? And you will get good stuff. Something will come to you. And then go out and make that the priority today. Because we haven't served our body in that what do you need all of our life. We just go out and use it, sort of like it's a vehicle or something like that. So that's my tip.
So you've just had a chance to hear Wayne's advice and a little bit about his personal story. Thanks for joining us today. And in addition to the resources and ideas that Wayne shared with us, you can go online to our websites and join our community. We can be found at visionquestconsulting.com and themagicparties.com. A big thank you again to Wayne Peacock for being with us. And thanks to our listeners. You are meant to go forth in the world to use your gifts and talents.